Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's StepsBasic, and welcome back to my community show. So, announcements out of the way first. Today, or I should say this week, we finished up the Borderlands 2 DLC, meaning that we have now officially caught everybody up to Borderlands 3. I'm probably going to keep playing that, though, because I kind of got excited about it. But I'm not going to play Borderlands 2 for the channel anymore. Like I said, I want to finish it, and I also want to go back to play 1. But for now, Borderlands is going on the shelf again. But I'm going to play it for myself because, honestly, I want to have a max character again. I miss having my Axton. But, it's important to play games for yourself. That's actually the topic for the day, but shh. But apart from that, I'm going to be starting God of War this next week. Kiddo's going back to school this next week too, which means I'm going to have more time to actually work on things, which is good and bad because now I won't have an excuse for not having my projects finished, and I'm not going to have my kiddo around. But like I said, more time to finish things and more time to work on things. So woo, nice, huh? But I do have a backlog of stuff I have to get caught up on for like the Babbling Beards podcast as well, channel over there. And we're going to be starting to work on getting that one going in a different direction. And with the new openings in my schedule, I should be able to put out some more stuff over there too, which will be good. Apart from that, I also want to try to start Detroit Become Human this week so I can get that one out of the way. For those of you who don't know how I play adventure games, they're pretty unedited. I like to play them very much through. And you guys can see how well I do on things like that. And, I mean, most of these Adventure Time games don't really have breaks in them anyway, so it works out that way. I'm going to say it now. I don't know how active I'm going to be after the 11th as far as recording and uploading, at the very least for a week, maybe a few days, because we have scheduled for Chompers' end-of-life thing. On that day, I can't really guarantee how well I'm going to be, feeling after that. Apart from that, that's all. No more announcements. Let's get into the topic, which is how to make a job fun. Now, I know that sounds weird, but I've been thinking about it a lot with this what I do here with my recording and everything, and if I give it too much thought, I realize that I don't play games for fun so much anymore, and it kind of irks me. And I know I've talked about stuff like this, or at least touched on it before. When it comes to playing for the channel, I'm not so much playing for fun as I am playing to turn out content. And, odd projects here and there, which are always fun for me. I never play games just for myself anymore. And, I do on occasions, and this is something I tell people when they ask me, hey, what are your thoughts on starting a gaming channel? I'm like, well, make sure to set some time to play games for yourself, otherwise you're going to start to hate gaming, or at least hate playing games, because it becomes work, and that's kind of the point of work. Is it's not necessarily fun; it's just necessary. Now, admittedly, my work doesn't net me any monetary gains or anything. It's mostly just for my mental health. But, it's fun, and it's a good job because, I'm busy. That's what's important. Apart from that, you see this in all sorts of different branches of employment, and it's not just gaming on YouTube, it's not just gaming on the internet at all. Every job you have has its pluses and minuses. Something drew you to the job, even if it was just a paycheck. And I think we've all had a job like that before. I worked at Kmart, in the shoe section at Kmart, right before it filed for Chapter 13, Chapter 11, Chapter 13. One of the two. I don't remember which one it was. But that was my first official job in the world of adulthood. I was still a teenager at the time. And it sucked. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It sucked. But I wanted the money. I wanted the paycheck. But when I joined the Navy, that was going to be my big joy. I was like, I know I want to be in the Navy because I'm going to go out. I'm going to defend my country. It's going to be great. Oh, look, I'm wearing my Navy shirt. Didn't even Anyway, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna defend my country. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna represent the United States, and I'm gonna get to see all sorts of different places. Plus, I'll earn money for college. I'll pick up life skills, and they're gonna break my brain, and I'm gonna feel like completely invalid for a good part of my life. And then I'm gonna get kicked out because I've been in too long without advancing, and then I'm gonna sit around and collect disability because I'm broken. That's exactly what my plan was, right? No. Admittedly, with the Navy, it was a bit of a different situation. You pick your rate, you pick your fate sort of deal. But even still, you can always find ways to make a job fun, entertaining, obligatory, but doesn't mean it has to be insufferable. And whether that's with hanging out with the people that you work with, getting to know them, getting to make friends, making jokes, having fun is important, because if you don't have fun, then honestly the paycheck becomes less and less worth your time. Now, admittedly, every job's got its ups and its downs, pluses and minuses. Some jobs a lot more minuses than pluses. Retail, I hate it, but it is probably one of the most important jobs everybody should have at one point. Whether it's retail in an outlet, a waitress, a waiter, food service industry, one of those situations where you have to deal with customers on a near constant basis, everyone needs to do that at least once in their life, because you're picking up one of the most important life lessons that you will ever learn, and that is patience for stupid people. Now, I can't guarantee like with any job, how you're going to keep it fun and keep it fresh. My writing, for instance, I don't know how to make it different. Like, I can't just say, I'm going to write something for myself and then just put it aside. I mean, technically I could, but then it's kind of wasting any time. At least when it comes to recording video games for the internet, I don't have too much in the way of, like, I have my downtime that I can use to play games for myself to keep gaming fun and interesting. And then I have my work time where I can play games for y'all and still, do my job. That way I'm not, burning myself out so much from gaming for you guys. And sometimes I can tell you, like with art especially, breaks are what keep things interesting, because that gives you time to plan. The same with various other jobs, retail work in particular. You learn different things. Like when I was doing shoes, first of all, I learned the job, which was important, and I learned the people I was going to be experiencing within the job. I learned which parts of the job were the worst, which ones were the best. Like, I loved crushing boxes. I have no idea why, but I loved doing that. That was my break. I wasn't allowed to do it because I was younger than 18 and I was using a giant box crusher. But darn if it wasn't fun, and nobody told me not to, so it was cool. But the worst part, women's shoes and children's shoes. Women's shoes being the worst, and children's shoes being the second worst, which is, take it or leave it. I'm not making any judgments here, but those were always the worst two aisles to work in organizing, because they were always a mess. There would be shoes on the floor, shoes scattered all over the winds, all over every single shelf. But I started to make a game of it. Sometimes it was a game of spot the difference, so you could figure out which shoe was not where it was supposed to be. Sometimes it was a game of organization. I love myself a bit of organization, you know what I'm saying? I love keeping things organized and flowing perfectly. And sometimes the game would include the customers. Like, I would see a customer staring at a pair of shoes, and I'm like, okay, let's play 20 questions with this customer. Is this customer going to come visit me? Does this customer not know what they're looking for? Is this customer upset and sick with life right now? So you play the 20 questions game where you try to figure out the customer and how you're going to have to interact with them. To me, that made the game fun. And maybe you guys have some things that you have to do with your job that you like to relate. You would like to relate to the comment section. I'd love to hear it, because those types of things, I love to hear about them. They're fun. There are some games when it makes it more difficult to actually lend itself to fun situations. There we go. Because of the serious nature of the job, firefighting, construction work, stuff like that. I can see it would be a bit more difficult to actually associate fun situations with them. At least when it comes to firefighting, you're not on call all the time. You're not like out there putting out fires every single day. God bless you if you are, because I've done that a little bit, a very little bit. I don't like it. It gets that blood pumping though. Doctoring, policing, stuff like that doesn't really lend itself so much to humor and fun, but I guess in a certain way they make up for it in paychecks. And I know in the military, I joke about it, but it was very much a hurry up and wait sort of situation. Like I would be working from 6 in the morning to midnight sometimes even longer depending on what we were doing that day. But not every single one of those days was a full, like, I'm working every moment of this day. Sometimes it would be get your job, do your job, come in and wait for your next job. Get your job, do your job, come in and wait for the next job. And sometimes it was nice because I'd go in, I'd get my job, and I'd have work for the rest of the day. I'd be perfect, I'd be set, I'd be awesome. Take a break for lunch, be my own boss, because I was my own supervisor, the only damage control petty officer in my division, thankfully, because I don't think any of us really had more than one. But yeah, even then, you fall into that rut, and you start doing the same thing every day, and you're just like, what am I gonna do? So you make a game of it. It's complicated. You find the little games that you can play, and if you've been doing a job long enough, you know what games you can play. Just as long as you make sure that the fire hoses are all put back in the proper way. Luckily, I never had that problem come up. They were always put back properly, and I never got complimented for them because, that was a job that was completely thankless unless you did something wrong. Completely unnoticed unless you did something wrong. In which case, you had to hear about it for about a few hours. But like I said, yeah, if you guys have any of these cool games that you may play to kind of pass the time at work, make work a little more sufferable, as it were, because we don't like to work. Nobody likes to work, but we all do it. And sometimes it's less a matter of wanting to work and more a matter of needing to work. Like for me, technically, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do my job. I could just give it up today and walk away, and I'd still be making my disability pay. But at the same time, I need it for my brain because it keeps my brain working properly. Admittedly, though, this job is probably one of the easiest jobs I've had. It is incredibly busy, even bridging the whole 8 hours a day thing. But at the same time, I'm feeling fulfilled, especially when I do the really long projects that take me forever to do. And then I'm finally done with it. It's like, projects. God, I love long projects. I hate the reception, though. It's like I put together a Let's Play video, put it out there, get 5-10 views on it. Then I put together this long project that's taken me a month to put together. I put it out there, 1 or 2 views. I feel like YouTube kind of throttles that sort of thing. So, you want to be creative? No. How dare you want to be creative? Big Daddy YouTube says no. But at the same time, even the ones that I'm really creative on and people watch and enjoy, even if I don't get all the people watching, I still get some and I still enjoy it. That's what's important. And, that's all I got. Got a busy day tomorrow, so I'm not trying to put too much on the table today. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to get my Warframe out ready tomorrow because payday means a lot of out seeing people and paying bills and whatnot. But I'm going to try. But apart from that, thank you guys so much for joining me for today's episode of the Community Show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please go and poke that like button for me if you'd like to see more from me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, as always, you're more than welcome to leave a comment down in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. When I can, if I can, all that jazz. And tune in next time. for another topic at another time. And until then, good night.